Hello everybody and welcome to RealHomeRecording.com. This is Adam as always. In today's video I'm going to be reviewing Blue Cat Audio's Axiom plugin. Now primarily this is a guitar amp simulator / speaker cabinet simulator. However, it is a lot more than that. There is a lot of value in this plugin. Why? Well, let's just take a look at how many effects are included in the package. Oh yes. So in total, there are 40 effects, including Blue Cat Audio Late Replies and Blue Cat Audio Destructor. So you're getting a lot of bang for buck in this plugin, and actually that makes this plugin hard to review because it's just a ton of different things. So for this review, I'm mostly going to focus on the guitar part of things. So because this review is also part tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use this plugin. In the upper left corner, we have the bypass button, which is always useful. It's actually a soft bypass, so if you do automation, definitely use it. Next up is our input and output, very useful. And then our plugin menu, we can do a bunch of different things with this. Going through, good stuff. Next up is the show controls, which when I press this, you'll see green LEDs show up. See that? On and off. That actually does come in handy, believe it or not. All right, next up is the undo and then redo. Again, very handy, although I wish that they would have colored the undo a little bit differently so that it stands out, or maybe make it bigger. The question mark is the manual. And then we can find out different things on the About menu. And as you can see, I'm reviewing version 1.11. Full disclosure, Blue Cat Audio did send me a license to review this. They actually sent me licenses to review a bunch of different software, and I haven't done it for a very long time. So, you know, I don't want to say I feel obligated to review anything, but actually Axiom is a huge release for them, and I wish I would have had this review out in September. All right, underneath that, actually next to that, is the very important global GUI zoom. We can go all the way down to 70%, which is tiny, and then clicking it again, I can go up to 200%, which I believe is good for 4K monitors on a 1080p display. I like to make it almost full screen, and to do that is 150%. Now, if you have multiple instances of this open, or if you just want to have other plugins on your screen, obviously you want to choose something smaller than that. But hey, I love that flexibility. Big thumbs up to Blue Cat for making that possible. Next up, show meters. This is kind of self-explanatory. It makes these on the sides disappear when I click it. And then also we can open up the controls for the different post and pre effects. See how it made that expand? Now if there's something on there, you could see it. See? Very nifty. And then if I do that to post, which is right next to it, same darn thing. All right, so I'm going to close them up for now. And then next is the show tools rack. This pops up now. Blue Cat recommends you use virtual instruments for this. So, you know, you can actually put anything you want in here, but virtual instruments is what this is mainly designed for. Next up, show assigned controls. This is more for MIDI mapping. And I don't have a MIDI keyboard or MIDI controller plugged in, so it's not showing me anything. And then our last two, lock GUI. This is very handy for when you're going through presets. And then we also have show preferences, which allows us to set where our plugin folder is and a few other options. Now, why would I want to do that? It's really simple. This plugin allows you to load up virtually any third-party plugin out there. I say virtually any because sometimes it's just not happy to load it and it'll actually crash your DAW. Actually, sometimes the plugin doesn't even show anything. I had that problem with Isotope Ozone 7, and Kuasa Amplification Vermilion would also crash this for some reason. I'm sure other plugins that I didn't try out will also crash, but for the most part, the plugins that I tried did. All right, moving on. Presets. This is the global preset menu, and there are tons. Look at this. This is just incredible. An incredible amount of different presets. And I mean, I actually was able to find the one I wanted through the global presets, and then I just adjusted it a little bit more. So next up is our input. This is where we can load effects. You can also make, I call them sub presets, where it's the preset for just this section. It's called FX strips in this case. But yeah, cool stuff. And then we also had the tuner, which by default is off, so you just have to click it and it'll turn on. And then we also have a post input effects fader. And if you want to be more precise, you just hold down the shift key and you can go by the 10th column. Alt click puts you back at 0. And then next in the signal chain would be our A and B guitar amp simulator section. To show B, you click basically anywhere here. And by default, it is panned with A only. Actually, pan's the wrong thing. Mix. It's a mix between A and B. And if you click the mix word right here, it'll go between the 3 or a combination of both. All right, and then we have our stomp boxes, which are really just any plugin you want to load on here. Again, all the built-in effects, and then you can also load VST or VST3 if you're on Pro Tools. I believe you can load AAX and VST plugins. Don't quote me on that. I believe that's the case. And then also, if you're on audio units, I believe you can do audio units and VST. So, you know, plenty of options. And then we have our amp section, which further expands by clicking this E button, E icon. And then we have, like I said, a ton more options. And this is actually the Destructor plugin. It says it right there. And here's the funny thing. Every single one of these built-in effects, if you click the question mark, there's a separate manual for them. That goes for, you know, echo, reverb, all these built-in effects, I believe, have individual manuals. And yes, indeed, you can even load Axiom within Axiom. Plugin inception indeed. Finally, we have our post effects, which is after the guitar amp and cabinet. And then our master channel gives us even more places to put more plugins. And then finally, to wrap it up, is stereo spread. We also have a brick wall limiter on and off. And then finally, this is actually before the brick wall limiter. And yeah, like I said, this plugin is very expansive on what you can do with it. And let's listen to some more bass guitar, courtesy of yours truly. Here's what it sounds like before. I think it does a pretty darn solid job. And if you want to see some of your options, then here we go. The name of these presets should be pretty familiar. And then down here we have our cabinets. So yeah, you have tons of options. If I went through every single one of these, it would literally take me about 3 or 4 hours. So my suggestion is to download a demo of this because you can play with it and get your own sounds. I'll tell you what, I'll just give you the bottom line. I think that this plugin is excellent on cleans. It is pretty darn good on crunches. On high gain, it's passable, but it certainly is not the best. And that's really where Blue Cat could improve things. But for $200, you get a heck of a lot in this package. I mean, you don't even have to technically mess with any of the guitar stuff. You could bypass all this, turn it all off, right? And then just load up any of these plugins individually. You know, Late Replies is a delay plugin. You know, I'll just make it bigger now. You know, and this by itself, I believe, was like $150 at one point, or it still is. So, you know, you combine that with all kinds of other things, and yeah. Blue Cat really did outdo themselves this time around. By the way, they've recently added in drag and drop functionality, and not only can you drag and drop within the plugin, you can also drag and drop between Axiom instances within your DAW, and you can drag and drop, in the case of Windows, VST3 or DLL files right from Windows Explorer and into the plugin. Now, how cool is that? They also have, I believe if you hold down the Alt key, it just copies these. Is it Alt? No, Control in Windows, but Alt in Mac. So anyway, there's a 37 pages long manual that'll tell you a bunch of different things about this plugin. But I will say overall, I think it is one of the best values out there. You can do so much with this plugin. Simple saturation, EQ. I mean, you saw the list of stuff already. I'll put it back up on screen. But really, for $200, you're getting a lot. And if you divide all those plugins, I mean, the value is just there with this. And like I said, the guitar amp quality, I'm not going to say it's the best, but I would not have a problem using just this plugin for a mix. Maybe not for heavy metal, but for everything else, it works just perfectly fine. I like it on bass guitar, and I barely even went through most of the presets before I got something that I liked, and then I just tweaked it a little bit, and the sound quality was there. Great job, Blue Cat. You guys continue to make cool plugins. Although, I've got to say, I get the GUI, and yes, you can make a custom one, but man, the blue, I don't know. I'll say this. They would do themselves well to make a simpler plugin. I know they like to make stuff with tons and tons of options, but sometimes people can get overwhelmed by too many options. So I do like what they were doing with their free guitar amp plugin. That was a very smart idea, which, by the way, if you have it, you can load it inside of this plugin. But anyway, I think I talked about this too much. And like I said, try it out for yourself. If you love it, buy it. Otherwise, skip it. But I definitely put this one in the recommended pile. This has been Adam for RealHomeRecording.com.